Okay, Loudepot back again. And what we're going to go over now is another chart. And this chart's important because it has everything in one chart after you did your BTU calculation. Okay? It has the necessary water temperature that has to flow through the tubing under the floor. It has the BTUs per square foot that you're going to get with that water temperature. The R value factor, which simply means what the material of the floor is made out of. Now, if it's mud and tile, it's a 0.5 R value. It means the heat can penetrate through it very easily. If it's thin carpet and thin padding under the carpet, it may have a 2, an R value of 2, which just means that it's a lot harder for the heat to penetrate it. Okay, so that really matters. The R value factor matters big time, and why most people aren't satisfied with their radiant heat. If you did a survey, about 50% of the people aren't satisfied with hot air or baseboard. It's actually equal or about the same for people with radiant heat. Although the radiant heat advantages are incredible, it's simply the installer that didn't know what he was doing. Because radiant heat, you can't have, and I'll give you a simple example, you can't have a kitchen, a large kitchen with an open living room where the kitchen is actually mud and tile floor, and then the living room being a thin carpet where that R value that we talked about is two different R values on the same zone. Because once it's on the same zone, even though they're close together and the rooms are open, once it's on the same zone, there becomes this huge question. Where do you put the thermostat? If you put it in the kitchen where the radiant floor is, well, everyone's going to be happy in there because that's going to be perfectly comfortable. The people with the carpet right next door are going to be cold. It's going to be chilly because their radiant floor is going to get warm faster and turn off the thermostat. Now, if you took that thermostat and put it where the carpet is, they're going to be comfortable where the carpet is, but the people where the radiant floor is in the kitchen with the mud tile are going to be burning and sweltering hot. Because by the time it satisfied the thermostat in there, that floor got extremely hot because it gets hot faster because it only has an R value of 0.5 compared to the R value of 2. So the only reason why people are unhappy and uncomfortable with uneven heat is because of the zoning. The ultimate way to zone radiant heat would be zone every room, put a thermostat in every room. It's a little expensive, but it would, unless, of course, the floors are made out of the same material, that's a little different. But because of that reason, the floors being different materials, having a different R factor or resistance factor, really, really matters. You really need a pro to look at it and zone the heat properly. Thermostats in the proper rooms. The more zones with radiant heat, the way, way better off you are, the way more happy you're going to be, the way more comfortable the house is going to be. Yeah, it's more expensive at first, but long term it's going to matter. Everybody that puts tubes under the whole house and puts one thermostat, that's never, ever going to work. It just isn't going to work, no matter what you do. So keep that in mind when you decide, if you do decide to do a job or do your own house. Zone off the rooms in zones. If it's the same flooring material in both rooms, that's not so bad. There's still a question of where you're putting that thermostat, though. Okay, so just keep that in mind. I want that in the back of your mind all the time when you're doing radiant heat or starting to lay out a job. Because that matters more than anything. Because you're going to have an unhappy customer or be unhappy yourself if you did it in your own house. Okay, and we're going to get back to this chart. I didn't expect this to take that long, so we're going to get back to this chart. But that mattered. I needed to get that in there. We'll get back to the chart next.